it's me Erica, and so today I'm going to be talking about two things, wigs and makeup. Two things that actually make part of a cosplay. And why am I talking about this? Because con season is really starting to push through with the coming summer, because a lot of conventions happen in the summer, and because of that you're going to put on cosplays. And the tips that I wish I had known now, I wish I knew when I was starting to cosplay, because when I started to cosplay I had like no idea what I was doing, because none of my friends did cosplay, and if they did, they didn't know what they were doing also. And a lot of the YouTube videos that I was watching, they helped, but they weren't as clear on how to do some basic makeup and also how to actually put on the wig. And everything I learned is through trial and error, and sometimes when I would go to conventions I asked people like, how do they do that? So this video is actually split up in two sections, wigs and makeup, and how to put it on, and also how and where to buy them. So the first thing I'm going to be talking about is wigs. So for wigs, where I buy them, I've bought them only on eBay. I haven't bought anything apart from the wigs on eBay. I know there's credible sources like Arto Wigs, Epic Cosplay Wigs, but I haven't had the chance to buy from there, because when I was starting I was like, I'm not gonna spend like 50 bucks on a wig. And to be honest, even though I'm not gonna like trash those, because they are really high quality. Like I see them always at conventions, and when you feel them, they are good. But eBay wigs are actually really cool also, because they're not that expensive. But if you're gonna buy a thing from eBay, here's just some few tips. Most of these wigs are gonna be coming from China, so do not buy a wig you need like a week from the convention, because most likely it's not gonna come. Wigs from China usually come from 2 to 3 to a month when you're ordering them, and a lot of the sellers on eBay always use the same image, so be careful and try to look at the seller who is selling this specific wig to see if they have a good score. Because sometimes the wigs they'll have all the same wig like picture, because they're just taking it off from a different person, so you're not really sure what you're gonna get. But most of the gambles I've done, it's pretty good. So the only thing I found trouble with is a lot of the neon colored wigs, like yellow wigs, pink wigs, because sometimes they're just from party stores that they end up sending you. But most of the time that's not the case. That's only happened to me once, but I've made it work, and that was my new lettuce wig. But to be honest, it's not that bad after a while if you style it. And down below I'll link some other sellers. If you don't want to go on eBay, that's totally fine. That's all up to your preference. But if you're a beginning cosplayer and you just don't know what you're doing, I would suggest going on eBay to make it sure that this is something you want to do. So when you bought your wig, most of the wigs actually come with a wig cap, and the wig cap they usually come with is this mesh one, if I can find them. Okay, so the one they come with is actually this mesh one. Usually it is this one. I've never seen a seller actually give the one that doesn't have this hole, the one that's like covered like a pantyhose. And I thought when I first this is something I wish people had told me how to do. It's already hard enough to put on a wig, but the wig cap is the one that is gonna make and break everything. And I will insert pictures of I will insert pictures. I can't even think, because I'm just like thinking of the moment. But I didn't know how to put a wig cap on, and because I didn't know how to do it properly, the wig would come off, and sometimes you would even see the wig cap in some of the pictures, my old cosplay pictures. Especially Mayrin, because that was like the first one I've ever done, the first real cosplay I did. So I used to think that this mesh thing was the worst kind of wig cap ever, but it's actually very magical. So when you're looking at this wig cap, and I'll show a closer look, there is a kind of thick band here, and then there's a side with no band. So the first thing you want to do is actually tie up your hair. I used to have really long hair I cut it because I wanted to have a new look, and also it's a lot easier with shorter hair to put it in the wig cap later on, because then you don't have to stuff as much in the wig. But if you have thicker hair, my sister has thicker hair and I used to have thicker hair, so what I would do was actually braid my hair and then do a kind of like crisscross thing with how I put my wig on. But now most people just do the ponytail. And of course the flyaways, you could just bobby pin it also. So taking the wig cap, you're gonna put it on like you would put on a shirt for your head, of course. I'm gonna take off my glasses and put it on. And then, once this is at your neck, pull the unbanded side up, and the thick band should be on your forehead. And now, you just pull up, and the wig cap is on. Most people can just stop at this step, but for extra security sake, I usually tie this on. And now it's secure. And sometimes I do put pins in here, hairpins, to kind of stick it through here and make sure it's not falling, but as of now, I'm not going to put it on, and this is such a good look, and I'm going to keep talking with this on. And I need to put on my glasses because I can't even see you guys. So when I first started doing wig caps, I would just put it like a headband, but no, this is how you do it, and I didn't know how to do that. And again, thick band here, no band here. So I'm gonna go talk about wigs now, because I have my sister's Yusong wig that I'm starting to style, and I'll kind of show one. This is such a nice look. I'll show how I put on this wig. And so, yes, wigs are hard to put on. When I first learned how to do it, I was like, what the heck? And the thing that no one told me about, because I was like, you just slap it on, right? Like a hat. It's not like a hat. Well, it's kind of like a hat, but not really. So I'll show a closer look, but inside of all wigs, there's gonna be a band that has the head preferences, and this is so that your wig does not come off. So there's about 6 holes here, and you adjust the hooks to how you want to make it tight. And I suggest when you have thicker hair or thinner hair, you make it the tightest you can, and don't worry if it doesn't, like, you think it's too tight, because you're going to stuff your hair, and the reason it's good if it's tight is so that the wig doesn't come off. So after you've done that, the front is always the one with the circle in the front, which is as so, and the back is always going to be the one with the hooks. And all wigs have this, unless it's the Party City wigs or like the cheap wigs that you buy during Halloween. But most wigs have this if you actually spend money on it. And what you do is, what I do is I put front first, and then I stuff my hair in the back, and from now I have it secure. And don't worry if you're thinking, man, like, I don't look nice when I put this on. All cosplayers don't look nice when they put their wigs on, because they always have to style it after, because there's no other way you're gonna put this wig on gracefully. And I wish I knew this when I was beginning to cosplay. Oh my god, I look like I look like a mom. That is nothing, but okay, stop it, Erica, stop it. So I wish I had known that. I wish I had known this when I was beginning to cosplay, because so many wigs would have been saved, and so many pictures would have looked nicer if I knew how to put on a wig. And I always watch videos on how to put on a wig, but they would just put it on their head, and I was like, how do you keep it to stick on your head? And the main reason is also with wig caps and also your adjusting of the wig. So those are the two things that I wanted to show you guys. And now we're gonna move on to the makeup. So now again, moving on to the makeup. So again, I did not have anyone to help me. My mom doesn't know how to do makeup. So when I first started to buy makeup, I thought, hey, maybe I should get high-end stuff or get cheap stuff. And you do not have to go with the high-end products like Urban Decay, who else is there, like Benefit and all that kind of jazz. You can if you really want to, but I don't wear makeup on the regular enough to the point that I can splurge on that kind of stuff. So, and I mainly just do it for cosplay and parties. So I was like, 50 bucks for a palette? Maybe not. And I guess a lot of beginning cosplays are like that, in that you don't want to spend that much money on makeup if you know that you might not like how you look. And the person who's doing the makeup, or how you learn how to do the makeup, is way more valuable than what you're gonna put on your face. So what I recommend for buying for your first purchase for cosplay is definitely face primer and eyeshadow primer, mascara, and eyeshadows and brushes, and of course foundation. But for lipsticks, most characters do not wear lipstick. I usually just wear lipsticks I wear on a regular, or lip gloss or chapstick that's slightly tinted, because a lot of characters don't, unless you're going for like Shigo from Kim Possible, and of course you need a specialized lipstick for that. But those items that I just mentioned, those are the basic ones you're always gonna need. So for buying your makeup, I recommend 3 brands. Of course, drugstore makeup is readily available, but the 3 brands I'm mentioning are very good for cosplayers and just normal wear. And the first brand is NYX. NYX Cosmetics is very cheap, and they are very high quality, and NYX usually is available in most not department stores, but like grocery stores like Target and Walmart. They're very easily available, and they have very great blushes that are very highly pigmented, and they're the easiest one to kind of find without going online. And the next one is actually BH Cosmetics. BH Cosmetics has a lot of different colors in palettes, and they're not that expensive. I think a 50 shadow palette with all the crazy colors is like $20, and that's pretty good for makeup. I've only bought one thing from it, which was Bubs Beauty's eyeshadow palette, and BH Cosmetics is really good for eyeshadows. And the last brand I'm recommending is, of course, ColourPop. ColourPop is a online makeup store that has very good eyeshadows and lipsticks, and they're not that expensive. And what I like about ColourPop the most is that they have crazy eyeshadow colors that you would not have found on the regular for at drugstores, or sometimes even the high-end products, because they have like neon greens, neon purples, like super bright pinks, and I really love that about them, and that makes it so much easier to do for cosplay if you're doing like some magical girl who has a specific color towards them, or you're doing like some character that's neon blue. They'll have that thing for you, and a lot of the drugstores don't have that, so I really love ColourPop. So as for applying your makeup, there's countless videos out there showing you how, and I've done a few of them too, and I'll link them in the title card. But the main thing you always want to do when you're cosplaying, if you forget anything else, is of course eyeshadow, because anime of course has really big eyes, And that is like the selling point of most animes, apart from like, you know, other physical characteristics. The eyes are the ones that matter. So if you forget anything, do your eyes. So with that, I am actually finished for this video. I hope you guys liked it and I hope you learned something. And if you have a beginning cosplay friend, go ahead and share it with them because it might help them. And I really would have liked this video when I was beginning to cosplay because, oh my god, flashbacks. But that always happens. You always have to start from somewhere. So it doesn't matter how bad you think you look like in like 15 or 2 years after you start cosplaying, because everyone starts there. No one just starts knowing how to do everything. So with that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope your cosplays and your con crunch season goes very, very well. So thank you guys again for watching and see you next time. Bye!